I've got Michaela and Teddy here from yours truly speaking with Heavy Mag about their new album Toxic that's coming out in 2 weeks. So how's it feeling in the camp? Do you guys still get nervous or is it just exciting at this point?
Nervous and excited, definitely. But mostly excited. Yeah, we've been hanging out a bunch, prepping for all the shows we've got coming up, practicing a lot. So I think just being around each other is hyping each other up,
Yeah.
trying to shake off the all the nervous bits. But yeah, still a little bit nervous about it, but I guess that's part of it.
Yeah, no, that's right. And you've released Sour, California Sober, and Call My Name so far. So how do you pick what song gets released straight out of the gate?
Um, Call My Name we chose because we just like loved it like so
Mhm.
much, and it was actually finished before we tracked the album. It was the first song we tracked for the record, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, let's just like wait and like see what other songs we get like in the album when they're finished, like because a song can change." And then we just got to a point where we were like, "This song is still gonna be good, and we're still gonna
Mhm.
love the song, and it's still like let's put it out." And so that's what we did with that one. I think Sour was also one of the same ones when we wrote it. We were like, yeah, this is gonna be a single. I think yeah, it's just having that gut feeling of like, yeah, this is gonna be the one.
Yeah. In the moment of recording it, you're like, you know, when your singles are popping up, like this is gonna pop off. We're gonna do this.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, cool.
passes
And you
the
guys,
vibe check.
yeah, that's it. You're like, we love it. Everyone else is gonna love it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys kind of hit that sweet spot. So all different kind of genres popping up. So you got your pop punk and the heavier kind of music as well. So that kind of opens you up to all different walks of life for your fan base. Is it nice having all those people kind of showing up and connecting with your music and not really having to force yourself into a box like a lot of bands do these days?
You go,
No,
Teddy.
yeah, it's sick. I think that it's nice to like, because a lot of people miss the old mixed bill. Like everyone that kind of listens to this kind of side of music will generally kind of have a pretty broad range with what they're listening to still. I think it's like it's good to have a bit of coverage for everyone and make sure it's something that like as many people can enjoy as possible. But I think that like we've always had like me and Michaela have always been big patrons of having mixed bills at shows and like having a heavy like a metal band on and then like followed by a pop punk band or something like
Yeah.
that. Just like it's fun to have that, and I think that it's kind of worked its way into our style of writing for albums now.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, it's awesome too because you guys can play like have all your airplay through Triple J, and then like
Mhm.
later on in the year you're going out with Enter Shikari. So
Yeah,
you
it's
got the
sick.
best of both worlds. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. And you said that with this album there was a lot of collaboration going on in the writing process. Um, is that kind of like how did that experience go for you? Is that the kind of avenue you go next time?
Um, it was very interesting in the way that like it was probably the most out of our comfort zone we'd probably ever been. And I think I would love to experience it again, like especially with making the connections that I made this time, and of becoming like friends with other people, and then being able to tell like each other your stories, and then you get to write this song. Like it's such a beautiful experience.
Mm.
um but yeah, like it was at the same time it was super daunting, because I think we're just so used to just, we've always been very in-house, and like, maybe working with with our producer, like, so this was the first time we'd done something different. But I think that it was crucial to moving forward. I think that sometimes you need some fresh energy to level up sometimes.
Yeah. And I'd imagine too, because writing is such a personal process, you kind of got your heart on your sleeve there. Having other people actually backing you up and going, no, that is amazing. Like keep going where you're going and having that would put new fire and breathe new life into your writing and, maybe give something a go that you wouldn't have backed yourself on before. And the
Totally.
results amazing. So I had to listen through the album and it's awesome. Like the first song Back to You kind of rips the album open and I'm like, oh, this is heavy. Like I don't know what I was
Mm.
expecting, but it excited me straight away. And I'm like, oh, where's this gonna go? What's happening? And it's really catchy as well. It just got stuck in my head instantly. So with all the different kind of genres that are popping up throughout the album, like I felt like there's a little bit of techno electro going on in there, heavier, your pop. Is that just you guys drawing from all your inspirations growing up?
Totally. I think that we inspirations growing up, but also the inspirations that we have like now as adults. I
Yep.
think that like
Mhm.
we started Yours Truly because we wanted to be in a pop punk band and we wanted to wear Vans and play Warped Tour.
Yeah.
And now that we're a little bit older, we're like, you know, like you were talking about like things before, like going on tour and Shikari and like, you know, having our songs played on Triple J and like also I think we have found other genres of music that we enjoy. Like obviously still love rock, still love pop punk, like all that stuff. But yeah, finding new influences has been fun, and being able to kind of show new parts of our personalities through songs has been fun. But we started with Back to You because I wanted people to go, whoa, this is heavy,
Yeah.
and the rest of the album to
Mhm.
not be that heavy because I thought it's a joke.
That's good though. It
It's a
worked.
joke.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a joke.
You
Well,
got pranked.
yeah,
You're
you
right.
pranked and it worked. So you caught my jet away. I'm like, what is going on here? But no, that's cool. That's cool. Well thought out. Well, kind of along that vein, on a side note, you guys did that Tony Hawk show, yeah?
Hmm.
Did you get to meet him? And did you guys used to geek out on that, like, I guess it's like a millennial soundtrack or gateway to that old music? Did you guys geek out on that when you were younger?
You go on, Teddy.
No, I don't know, not really me so much. I kind of like I wasn't really like allowed to do any sort of like video games or anything when I was younger. But like growing up, like and then finding this kind of music, I found out about that very quickly. And like I grew up skateboarding as well, so I already had that love for like Tony Hawk. And then when those two worlds kind of like eventually collided for me, it was sick. But I got to meet him in the elevator going up to the venue when we're arriving, and I was just like, I remember I walked in, and then like I turn around, and he's just like walking in behind me. I'm like, that's Tony Hawk.
That guy.
It was crazy.
Oh, that's too cool.
Yeah.
That's too cool. So you guys have got, I think, 2 shows before you head off. It's like a release show in Australia here, and then you're going
Yep.
off and you're doing, is it Leeds, isn't it? That
Yeah.
is massive. Like that's so cool. It's really cool to see Aussie bands on there as well. And then later on you've got your tour with Enter Shikari and You Me at 6. So once you come back home, are you thinking about doing a headlining tour so we can celebrate you guys, or what's the plan? Like, there's just so much going on for you.
Yeah, like 100%. We'll definitely be doing an Australian tour at some point after those shows.
Yeah.
It's we've already started planning some stuff, so you'll hear about it sometime soon.
Awesome. And being able to, being a band that has been able to travel overseas and play your music, then come back over here, how would you say that Australia's music health check's going? Like, do you feel like we're bouncing back, or is it just not is it polarized to overseas, or how are we tracking?
My unpopular opinion is that I think that we exerted our exerted might be the wrong word, but we we had a lot of Australian artists playing shows and being put on lineups here when we were kind of just coming out of COVID. But I do feel that ever since we've started being able to have international artists in this country, Australian artists are being overlooked again.
Yeah.
So I think people overseas still love Australian artists, and you know, like they love the Australian thing, the Australian label. I just feel like Australia is not loving Australia right now because I think we're just so excited that this person from America, that person from the UK is able to come here now, and you're seeing less international artists also coming to Australia and having an Australian support. It's just it's sad. That's just kind of how I feel about it right now. But hopefully, like I get that everyone's getting excited about things going back to normal, but I just do hope that people remember the artists that kept this alive, and that was the Australian artists.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know what?
100%. Just like going off the back of that, I think that it's like that's kind of it's also because no Australian artists have really started to go overseas as much as like what we were doing before the pandemic. It's been a lot of kind of staying local in Australia. And I think when those international artists are coming over, and having Australian bands being able to be the ones supporting them, that's where they're able to build the relationship and connections for them to potentially bring them overseas, get them out of Australia. And I think that's something that's like lacking because of the domination of the international bands coming through. And yeah, I think it's really important to get some Aussies being able to have those connections with the international acts again to help spread each other around.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point to make, and it's so valid. There is so many international artists coming over, and yeah, punters are kind of saving their pennies and then going and seeing that. So that's a very, very valid point to make. Something to think about, definitely.
Absolutely, because I like that's how we kind of started getting those relationships and being able to get out of the country and be able to tour overseas, was being able to support this, like be like the support act for international bands that were coming over. And then even if it wasn't directly supporting them when they had a tour over there, they were talking and telling like their friends over there,
yeah,
and giving them us as recommendations. And that's because that's kind of how it works. Like
yeah,
you're always asking like, oh, who should we take on tour, when you're kind of not really sure. And it's good to be able to just keep that network flowing internationally.
yeah. No, definitely. And that's really important. Like, as you guys would know better than anyone, doing a headline tour is not cheap as well.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Put your heart and soul into it, and then yeah, you just want people to show up and enjoy themselves at the end of the day. Hey.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I think we're coming up to time now, but I do want to say that like life's crazy, bad shit happens, but I'm grateful that you guys have an outlet and can do something like this album that you are putting out into the world in 2 weeks' time, because it is really a beautiful thing that you know been able to release it that way, and I'm really excited for everyone else to be able to hear it.